Hey guys, so tonight I'm going to be showing you how I highlight and contour. I filmed this video a couple of months ago and then I had some issues importing the footage into my computer, and so I never got to upload it on YouTube. And when I was sitting down thinking of what I wanted to film tonight, I was looking through my videos and I realized I had not ever done a highlight and contour video on my channel, so I thought it'd be fun to do that today. Also, I have new hair. It's a lot shorter. I just decided to chop it all off, and so yeah, I'm getting used to it, but I really like it. It's going to be hard for me not to put it in a ponytail because that's what I always do, but that's one of the reasons why I wanted to cut it, was because I was always putting a ponytail and there was just no style to it ever. So hopefully this will force me to style it a little bit more, and hopefully it'll be easy for me to maintain, because that's what I'm about right now. But anyway, let's get started with the highlight and contour video. Okay, so I grabbed a couple of my favorite highlighting products. I do have all of my makeup done, as you can see. I have concealer and foundation on. I have not set my foundation with anything yet. I'm using the Armani Silk foundation today, so it's a little bit more of a dewy foundation. So I am feeling the need to set this. It's been hard for me not to yet, but I wanted to wait until this video because it is part of my highlight and contour routine to set my foundation with powder. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about highlighting and contouring and why people highlight and contour and what the overall goal is. I know it's a big trend on YouTube, it has been for a while, but I don't really know if a lot of people really understand why you highlight and contour. So highlighting and contouring is really to kind of define the structure of your face a little bit more, kind of create the illusion of more definition if you don't already have that. So contouring is basically to create the illusion of shadows on your skin, on your face. When I was a trainer at Mac, well, the way we would best kind of illustrate highlighting and contour is to imagine that you have a light like shining on your face, okay? So you have a light shining straight down on your face. Let's say it's a flashlight. So you're going to highlight in the areas that the light would hit your face, which is going to be on the high planes of your face. So it's your forehead, above your brows, the bridge of your nose, right here on your cheeks, above your lip. And then a contour is going to be basically where the shadows would be. So if you think about that light, you know, you would have a shadow underneath your cheekbones if you have very defined cheekbones. You would have a little bit of a contour on the sides of your nose maybe. It really just depends on the natural structure of your face already. But typically we highlight and contour to either create the illusion of something that's not already there. So for me, I have a very round face. I don't have defined cheekbones, so I like to create those with makeup. Or it's to naturally define, you know, your natural features. But highlighting is to give the illusion that it's coming out. So it's, you know, contouring is like receding light and highlighting is reflecting light. Okay, so there are two different ways to highlight. You can, actually there are more than two different ways, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about highlighting with liquid products, highlighting with matte powder products, and then highlighting with shimmer products. For this demonstration, I'm going to show you my easy everyday contour routine. I don't use a lot of products to highlight and contour my face. I'm just going to show you my simple, basic way to highlight and contour. I just use powders. I am not a big fan personally of using cream products to highlight and contour. It can look really pretty and it can look really natural. I feel like it's easier to mess up that way, and I also feel like it requires you to really be looking in the mirror throughout the day and making sure that your makeup is still in place. If you have oily skin or if you live in a hot climate, if you use cream or liquid products to highlight and contour, I feel like throughout the day the chances of that moving or rubbing off are more likely than with powder products. So that's one reason why I like to use powder over liquid and cream. I think powder is easier too, especially if you're a beginner. It's harder to mess up, or I guess it should say it's easier to fix powder and powder highlighting contour. So for those reasons I use powder and powder. powder. I use powder every day. Now, if I'm going out and I'm taking more time on my makeup, or I really want my makeup to stand out and I really want to look like super glam, then I will use a combination of both. But for this video, I'm just going to show you my everyday highlight contour routine to keep it simple. So let's get started with that. Okay, so like I said, I just have foundation on. Before I apply products to highlight, I am going to set my foundation with Makeup Forever HD Loose Setting Powder. I love this powder to set my foundation because it's so lightweight. It just basically sets your foundation, mattifies it, but it doesn't look heavy and it doesn't add any more color. So it doesn't change the color of your foundation at all. It's very, very lightweight, which is what I want because I don't really want to lose the integrity of the foundation. I don't want to completely change it. Otherwise, why do I buy, $60 foundation? So I love this for that reason. I also like that it has a little net here, so I'll kind of just tap it with my finger to get some of that powder out. And then I like to use a really fluffy brush. I'm going to use this MAC 137 brush for today. But basically just something really light because again, I just want to set it. One, because I don't want the contour, when I go in with contour, I don't want that to just stick and not blend out. And if I have a really creamy or luminous finish foundation on, it will just stick to it and it'll be harder to blend out. So next I'm going to go ahead and highlight, and I'm really into using this Marc Jacobs highlight and contour little palette here. This is the 40 Mirage filter. It says #Instamarc on the back of it. I love this particular highlighting and contour palette. It is a little pricey, but it is my favorite. I like the Anastasia Beverly Hills one, but I just prefer this one a little bit more. I am loving this brush to highlight because it's the perfect size. Yeah, it's just the perfect size. That's what I love about it. It's the Real Techniques brush. And I just like to go right underneath my lower lash line, so to set my concealer really. And I like to pack this on. I like it because it's really lightweight, but it's pretty brightening. Like you can see a difference when you apply it. It's not super sheer, but it's lightweight, if that makes any sense. It's not heavy, but it's not sheer. So I'm just going to set my concealer with this, and then I'm going to drag it down a little bit more to the center of my face. I also like to go in between my brows and a little bit in the center of my forehead with this as well. And this is really going to pop more when I go in with contour and with bronzer. Right now it may be hard to see on camera what this does, but you can see in the mirror the brightening effect that this gives. It also smooths out the skin, just looks really pretty. Okay, so that's what I'm using to highlight. Another two of my favorite highlighting products that I have are, they're very different than the product I just used. I like to use the Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. This is a really great option if you don't want a intense highlight, you just want to set your concealer and you want a very subtle brightening effect. This is really great for that. I also grabbed the Mercier Highlight Powder. This was actually a sample that I got in a beauty insider like perks or whatever, and I really, really like it. I don't like to go all under the eye because it does have shimmer to it, but it's not as shimmery as like the Becca highlighters or the Mary Lou highlighters, the ones that are super shimmery. These are more highlighting for your cheekbones. These aren't really great to highlight, all over your face, in the center of your face, because you'll look like the Tin Man. But this is really pretty because it's not as shimmery as that, but it's not matte. So this I like to use just like on the outer part of underneath my eye and then on my cheekbone. But those are my favorite highlighting powder products. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with my bronzer. I like to do bronzer before I do contour. And right now I'm using the Bobbi Brown Golden Light Bronzer. I've been using this for a couple of months. I've used this in my last few videos. I really, really like it. And I like to use a really soft, fluffy brush like this one by MAC, just because it's going to apply it really nice and light. And I just kind of apply this a little over where I'm going to go in and contour. This is just to give the illusion of like a tanned skin. I'm going to keep it very subtle and soft, especially since I am going to contour. I don't contour every single day. On the days that I don't use a separate contour product, I'll use the bronzer more as a contour, but since I am going to go in with a contour shade, I'm going to keep this really, really, really light. Very natural. And that's all. And then I'm going to contour again with the Marc Jacobs palette, this shade right here. I like it a lot because it's cool tone, so it's not really red or warm, but it's not super gray either. It's just a really good natural shadow color. Again, you want it to look like the illusion of a shadow, and shadows aren't red or warm tone, they're more cool tone, right? And I like this brush by NARS to contour. It makes it so easy. The only thing I will say about this brush is that if you don't set your foundation, you have a really creamy emollient or like luminous foundation on, you have to be careful because it can, it's pretty, the bristles are pretty defined in the where it leaves the product, so you can kind of get a stripe on your face if you're not careful, but you can always go out and blend it out. It's really not hard. So I like to contour. I kind of use the top of my ear and like, I kind of imagine a line going from the top of my ear down to the corner of my mouth, but I like cut it off right about here. So almost about an inch before my smile or expression lines. That's kind of where I want my contour to be. And I'm going to keep it really soft. So this is just going to kind of carve out my cheekbone a little bit, or my cheeks. I have really round cheeks. Another trick is kind of like making the fish face and seeing where that falls. And as you can see, it falls exactly where I was placing it. So we are on the right track. And I also like to put a little bit right here on my hairline. This, not necessarily to make my forehead look smaller, although that is going to be a side effect of it, and I don't really need that because I don't have a small forehead. I don't have a large forehead, but really this is just to kind of pop that highlight in the center of my forehead a little bit more, right? Because we put that here. So putting that contour around it is going to make that highlight come out a little bit more. And then I do like to contour the sides of my nose. I don't spend a lot of time on my nose. I really could because I have a round nose and I could contour the heck out of it, but honestly, I don't want to walk around all day and worry about people like looking at the contour on my nose. I mean, I want it to look very natural. So I just put a little bit here on the bottom of my nose. I don't go all the way up to the side of my nose because I don't feel like I need it there. I feel like if anything, I just want to define the base of my nose because it's a little more round. And so I just put a little bit of shadow effect right there. So again, you know, I think the biggest takeaway from contouring is look at the structure of your natural face and decide what you want to define, what you want to kind of create the illusion of something different there. Don't just watch a YouTube video and think that you have to follow the steps that everyone is doing because everyone's face is so different. Like, it was so funny because Chelsea, if you've seen Chelsea's video, she has a cute little tiny nose, and I think someone had commented on her video one time to contour it, and it was just didn't make any sense because it's like, why would you contour her nose? Her nose is like already defined and cute. You don't want to make it look any smaller, you know? So I will do that to contour the sides of my nose. And last, you want to set everything with a little bit of blush. I say set, it's not really setting, is it? But I do apply a little bit of blush too, you know, because I love blush, we all know that. And I'm going to use this shade by Bobbi Brown. It's called Coral Sugar, and it's just in this little palette here. It's like a pretty little matte peachy pink. I'm going to pop that onto my cheeks. And that's pretty much my contour routine with powder. Super simple, it's nothing special, but it is the products that I'm using and loving right now. One thing I want to talk about before I end this video is highlighting with a really shimmery like product like the Mary Lou or the Becca highlighters or Champagne Pop, all of that stuff. You don't want to put that in the same areas that we put this last highlight. This is really just to give your skin a glow and to create that look of glowy skin when the light hits it. So this you want to use very, very sparingly. I like to use a fan brush to apply it because it's very, very lightweight. And this I just kind of apply really right here on my actual cheekbone. And sometimes I will apply it on the tip of my nose. But look at that. I mean, that's just a tiny little dab of it. I mean, it's really intense, so you gotta be careful. And then a little bit on the Cupid's bow of my lip. This is something I just do when I'm going out. I don't really do this on the daily. In fact, I never do this day to day. I just do this when I'm going out at night. I will give my skin a little bit more of a glow. But anyway, I hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you use to highlight and contour. I'm always on the hunt for new products, but those are the products that I'm using and loving. So I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. Hey baby, I don't wanna stay in this club no longer. You can move out of my place.